You mean this music? It's pretty good, isn't it? Hello, everybody. Welcome. It's great to have you along. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome to another week of Throttle to Your Bottle, and welcome to round number 10. We made it to double figures of Season 2. How about that? We've got plenty of incredible and interesting things in the pipeline. But for now, I welcome you along to what is the wildest and wackiest league racing show you'll ever have the pleasure of seeing. I'm Carl Poranic. I'm the commentary crusade person for today. Hello, beautiful. Fortis, stop it. You're beautiful. Adam I know. We'll get into that in a second. But, ladies and gentlemen, Brazilian Grand Prix. For those of you that haven't seen the previous round over at the Belgian Grand Prix, make sure you go and do that right now. Okay, I'm spoiling it for you now. Qualifying, Sneck destroyed everybody. I think that comes as no surprise. He has a cutthroat championship lead, and he's looking to extend that at every single opportunity. However, wasn't all plain sailing in the race. Not only did he get a track limits penalty later in the day, but a rare mistake from the main championship protagonist. Did not see that coming, not from a mile away. But, unbelievably, that's how the cookie crumbled. Ultimately, that is what meant Safso did the three-peat. The triple threat from the man that was in the Aston Martin last week. Absolutely demolished it out there. As he did for Austria and Monaco as well. He did it in Spa. Not here for the Brazilian Grand Prix, but don't worry. We've got a very special name in his place. Well, sort of. Not the same team, but you get what I mean. How are we all doing? Yeah, and I'm a bottle. Listen, the league's called Throttle to Your Bottle. You're just living up to its namesake, so don't worry about it. It's good advertisement. Those open lobbies with you, DRS games. Infinity, I remember them fondly. I do remember them fondly. I then almost completely bottled it into the final corner, but we'll ignore that. It was a good time. Arthur Way Cook last round, he did indeed. Pretty much the only brave soul to go for the alternative strategy. And it very nearly worked. Very nearly garnered him a podium place. Was a little bit passive at times, but ultimately almost made it work. A good haul of points for the Williams person. In the end, though, podium dwellers were Safso, reserve driver, took the win. Chaldenby was hot on his heels, though, right until the very end. Backmarkers had a part to play at Spa in the last lap. DRS. Where have I seen that before? Any ideas? Yeah? No? Alright, just me then, I guess. There will definitely be DRS games that I have no doubt there will be. As there should be. It's going to be a fun time. Like I said, though, I won't keep you waiting in suspense anymore. We have a special name with us. Safso couldn't make it today, or possibly didn't want to be humbled too much by the Brazilian Grand Prix. It's okay, though, because it's the one and the only, the astonishing Adam Sanderson. He is driving in the Haas as a reserve today. We've got a couple of other reserves out there. We've got Rose Q Pro in the Kick Sauber. More points for Kick Sauber, guys. This is not a drill. It's gonna happen. Trust me. Even more than that, we've got Ollie, who's in the Mercedes, and one or two others that have made the trek to Throttle to Your Bottle, which will be great stuff. Leaking in for I know he's been practicing time trial. I know he's been practicing. What a sweat. But if he's to preserve his championship lead, the game's the game. That's all I have to say. Yuri's back in the Ferrari, though, which is good news for their team. Although Ferrari didn't have a terrible week last week by any means. Still holding firm that Constructors' Championship crown. It's firmly in their clutches. And, you know what, we'll list off standings while we're at it right now. Sneck leads now, but it's 51 points. Chaldenby moved up into P2. Yuri, of course, was absent, but he has graced us with his presence today. So there might be high scoring on the doors. We shall soon see, though. Safso, by the way, despite being reserve, has only done 3 races. He's already 7th in the championship, 102 points. How about that? Can Adam Sanderson keep up the reserves winning streak? Well, we'll see how stupendous and splendid his driving is today. To answer that question, Sneck still leads, though. It's a comfortable margin. There's no other way of putting it. Duty, though, in P4. Escaped from Fortis, only by 1 point, though. Fortis in 5th, Mamu in 6th. And then Safso, like I said, in 7th, with Kitty Katie in 8th. Not racing today, but don't worry. The American Dream seat is being kept warm and hopefully on fire in terms of pace, but we shall soon see. Constructors' Championship, though, Mercedes did gain on Ferrari. It wasn't a huge dent into the Constructors' Championship arrears. However, it is a crusade Mercedes are looking to pioneer. They gained by 12 points last time out, but we only have 3 rounds to decide proceedings. We have this one, we have the next one, and the finale, which is at Zandvoort. Speaking of Zandvoort, fun times. That Grand Prix this weekend, everyone seems to be crashing in practice, honestly. Invite them over. Because clearly there's many throttles and many bottles to be had in practice 1 and 2 anyway. We're all singing Lance Stroll's praises, and then he nerfed Barrier. Conversation for another. Why are you so fast at Las Vegas time trial? You're 7 tenths fast. Well, listen, Infinity, what you need to understand is I'm a glorified sweat. But don't worry. The Infinity Candy Floss fan club is here. The real Capit. Hope you're doing well. Welcome along. Everybody's readying up. Infinity says again, if it's raining, I'm chilling. And that's probably pretty accurate because it's going to be an incredible incinerator. But without further ado, it is time for qualifying. A short qualifying session. All your drivers' names listed on the right for you all to wonderfully survey. And we'll see who will quench their qualifying thirst no more so than prizing pole position away from the rest of the field. The Williams fan club, the Infinity Candy Floss fan club. How many other fan clubs do we have? Apparently we're still on iRacing. That's not ideal. Let me fix that. F125. That should now be fixed. I heard the meta here is 7-6. Well, it's low wings, but it's not that low. I can tell you that now. It's definitely not that low. Holy moly. Qualifying time. It's 20 drivers. It's the beautiful Brazilian Grand Prix. No, it's 0-0. Wet race. Oh, is it? That's pretty good. Elite Silver, thank you very much for the follow. Your name should show up gloriously, but welcome along. It's great to have you on board. And also a big shout out to Roll_F1. Great to have you on board on the TTYB Twitch channel. And also to Mr. Luke Sam. Thank you very much for following. Welcome to this chaotic circus. It's great to have you along for the ride. Who will win the first psychological war of the day then? That's the big question. And the answer will arrive very soon. Aston Martin getting jiggy with it in the pit lane. No AI crowds round here though. This is proper high-octane performance. And for a moment, Aston Martin thought they'd won. But out of nowhere, to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, the Infinity Fan Club has something to smile about. Because first out onto the track, it is the Kick Sauber. The lean green machine makes their way out into Interlagos. And it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful time indeed. Complete contrast to Spa-Francorchamps, of course, the Interlagos circuit, in terms of distance and overall lap time. It means there are plenty of opportunities to set lap times. You don't really have that much luxury. Time was of the essence last weekend. However, time very much on your side. Main thing, of course, is getting that first valid lap on the borders. Look at the showmanship. The supreme showboating from Infinity Candy Floss, who in the dry is flourishing and thriving, but when the wet comes, usually Candy Floss just dissolves. But look at this. Through the final proper corner of the circuit, just this sweeping left-hander. It's foot to the floor stuff, though, and we will ride on board with Infinity Candy Floss, who will take us round for a lap of the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. Across the line, there you go, towards the 50-meter board. Brake as soon as you pass that, and then dip the car in. So easy to lock the front brakes, take as much curve on the second part, and then hug that inside line. Minimise the overall distance and angle of attack. Red Bull exits the pit lane, but no harm done. Freya Voss gets dutifully and keeps dutifully out of the way. The Citadel Largo for the first time this qualifying session. No jockeying with the track limits, particularly with the most recent patch, because apparently the stewards remembered guide dogs. Through Ferradura. Hit both curbs, try not to let the car be super glued in, and then it's curb abuse all the way through this section. Hug the inside line, keep it in third if you dare. Can you second for that initial purchase as the tarmac ends on the left-hand side? Brake, dip the car in. Front poises in and darts into the apex beautifully. Just the final corner to go. Third gear in, touches the curb, and as a result, the car whips up a tremendous tank slapper. which Infinity incredibly saves, but it's maximum flappage all the way to the line for the green machine. Where does this lap time see us so far? It's a 1 minute 8.163. However, there are two Aston Martins looking pretty punchy. Here comes TR1 F1 Charles Leclerc 16. 1 minute 10.1. Second place for now, but plenty of pickings for the rest of the grid to take. Kylo Ren. DRS wide open. Number 3. Sends it Rick Bobby style. Has he sent everyone's world upside down? Almost in the middle of a very green sandwich, which Beaksy completely annihilates. A purple Sector 3 for the American dream. And you don't need to pinch yourself. The dream is well and truly alive. Meanwhile, Kitty Katie's found her Hassie back. Fantastic! Because Adam Sanderson is now part of the French Connection, the Alpine team, with a dream, hopefully trying to reign supreme. But that's much easier said than done. Qualifying has to be kept clean. Mackie put a clean lap on the board though. 1 minute 8.7. 1 minute 8's the sweet spot at the moment, but expect plenty of time to be found. 1 minute 7's most definitely in this qualifying session. That will be the pole lane. Probably a mid 1 minute 7 if we're talking about solid Sneck, who currently rests in the pit lane. Someone looking to switch up the status quo, though. Freya Voss, 1 minute 10.3. Resides last of the people that have currently set a time. It's all fine. A clean lap on the board is what you need. It's just a game of confidence. Get a clean up on the board, you can continue to build from there. Push yourself and the track to its absolute extremes as Tanidran went into P2 with a 1 minute 8.376. The margins just compressing and compressing. Here's Chowdenby though, who has just continued to go stronger and stronger in the contactless transaction. DRS to the line. It's fastest for the moment. 1 minute 8.020. Very nearly breaching the barricade. Still plenty of time to be found. Katie on their first lap, going through Sector 2. Just lost a little bit of overtake on. Pinched the nose in to the apex. Almost a bit too much in that particular instance. But you know what? The car made the corner. Who's complaining? Another V-carb to cross the line. Liam with very much a cool-down lap. And Katie's going to get an almighty slipstream from the Mercedes ahead. It might well be of Ollie. One of the reserves is going to continue giving a tremendous toe to the line. It's a 1 minute 8.788. No battery to play with and possibly caught up and momentum lost in that process. Fortis is up to P5 with a 1 minute 8.617 and is now just doing some sightseeing and a bit of lawn mowing. How brave. Rally jump. Oh. The FIA are just no fun, aren't they? Ladies and gentlemen, Adam Sanderson is on a lap in the Alpine, as I imagined. I think that was Ollie, who was just about to start that lap, and yes, it was, because Sneck is on an outlap and just reaching the beginning of their first lap in anger in qualifying. Adam Sanderson, then. What cards do you have up your sleeve, sir? Magician. Magisterial. Possibly even marvellous. Soon to be answered. Spaceboy went into P6. 9 milliseconds behind Beaksy. As again, those margins become ever more millimetric. Alpine, though. The French Connection to the line. Right on schedule. It's 5th place for Adam Sanderson. At this particular stage, a very decent banker to open up the account. Where does Ollie end up, though? He crosses the line. It's a 114.7 at the moment, but has front wing damage. Huh. Highwire crosses the line to go P12. I'm completely discombobulated by Ollie's lack of nose ability, but Duty goes into the 1 minute 7s. It was only a matter of time before that barricade was breached. Possibly Yuri about to do the same. They've done a 1 minute 8.2. Ferrari first and fourth at the moment, but don't ever count out championship favourite Sneck across the line, and it's an absolute demolition job. Utter obliteration stations. Next stop, pole position. 1 minute 7.384. mean, it just isn't very fair, is it? Cheltenby, by the way, did improve into the 1 minute 7, so well done you. 1 minute 7.846. Times continue to tumble, but Sneck again with an ominous statement for the rest of the grid to respond to. Utterly unbelievable. Of course, looking to regain that momentum from Spa. Not that there was much of a loss of momentum. Still a podium next to the Mercedes Maestro's name. But a win is all the more sweet. And to take pole position, and by a commanding margin at that, is a perfect way to start the race weekend. Other drivers have been improving though. Lawn Mowing Liam, he's done a 1 minute 9.074, taking a creative interpretation of Interlagos track limits. Can't really blame him though, to be honest with you. Arthur Way was on a lap, he's invalidated. Not ideal. Very wide goes an Aston Martin as well. Infinity though is on a lap. Here we go then. The real Capit said to Mr. Infinity, stop whining. Just set pole. It's not that difficult really, is it? At the moment though, almost a 10th up, and that's not a bad start whatsoever. Infinity knows there's plenty of time, particularly through that last proper corner. Completely unsettled the car by taking the curb at the wrong angle. Maybe this time, though, that mistake will be rectified, and they'll see much, much more optimistic outcomes from this particular lap. All clean and composed. Keeping it cool in the searing Interlagos incinerator. A 10th up, and it's a purple sector 2. Again, still sliding out of that final corner. Didn't nearly have the mid-corner slide that they saw last time, but DRS wide open, almost no battery to burn, and they peel into the pit lane. That is the end of that. Beaksy improves, however, a 1 minute 8.404, and Duty goes even faster with a 1 minute 7.6. Still those times tumble, and remember, that's on old tyres. So the softs clearly with a decent amount of purchase despite everything. Sneck, I assume, will peel this into the pit lane unless they feel so inclined to go for another competitive lap, which apparently they do. The script writes itself. Here goes our provisional pole sitter for yet another lap in anger at Interlagos through the centre S's. Pretty much academic. A little bit of time left on that second curb. You don't want to leave anything to chance. Not with the track limits. Not in this particular patch. Infinity saying, I was down, my last corner was shocking, rather. Capit wishing he had purchased proper traction because he said, don't slide out, bro. Oh, no, speaking of slide out, there goes Sneck. And almost a carbon copy of what Lewis Hamilton did in qualifying, I think, in 2017. It's almost happened again. Same team, same corner, same track. The parallels write themselves in the TTYB cinematic universe, but Sneck keeps their nose clean, albeit just very emotional damage. Adam Sanderson, meanwhile, again starting another lap, as has their teammate Highwire. Just going through the centre S's now. The Enstone outfit looking for even more to shout about as Fortis goes into P6. Still, those margins get closer and closer and closer. Just over a 10th between him and P4. Anything is possible. Tanadran getting a distant slipstream. Puts them in P4. Great lap from the McLaren man. And plenty of evolution in the track being found left, right and centre. So what does Adam Sanderson have in the locker? Maximum flappage all the way to the line. Attack the inside. Hug that inside wall. It's 4th place for Adam Sanderson. And there was no slipstream shenanigans involved there. Just pure, raw grit and determination. Plenty to find if he's going to prize pole position away. But second row of the grid for now is nothing to turn your snout up at. Another lap for Infinity, meanwhile, through those first 3 corners. Here you go, Capit. Sneck looking for a snack. You're damn right, he's munching on some pole position cuisine. Absolutely crazy. Well, that's a 10.5 improved in just the first sector. Let Infinity cook. Plenty more of that where that came from. Who else is on a lap, though? The answer is Yuri, and it gone purple through sector 2. And there was a very decent chance at challenging for pole position, but not with that particular final corner. It will be a retreat to the pit lane. And it is a sad horse. Katie did set a clean lap, however, apparently, according to the timing sheets, did not improve. Still P14 for the Haas driver. From what I can tell, it's always that last corner where people are struggling. Infinity will complete their lap this time, which is great news. Into the 1 minute 7s, and by the most nanometric margins, beats out Adam Sarnason for P4 on the road. More improvements coming through, as that right there is the Williams of Arthur Way. Going purple in Sector 3, he seems to be able to get it right, but it's only P10 at the moment, just under a second away from Sneck's first lap of the day. Liam, meanwhile, invalidated their lap. Won't improve. P12 for now, though. And just under 4 minutes to go in this qualifying session. So the story so far, then, as Ollie is going through to set their next flying lap in this qualifying session. And Rose Q Pro. Who knows what words are today, but they could be looking to snipe their way through up to the forefront of the grid. How about that? Apparently P4 ain't good. I feel like there's very harsh coaching going on. My race, if you don't aim for the... hello, have you seen the Niagara Falls worth of sweat going on in pole position at the moment, Captain? Let's just sink it. Let's let it sink in. Let it soak every single orifice of the narrative. And I think we'll leave it at that. Kylo Ren, meanwhile, they're on a lap. Looking for an otherworldly force to propel them towards pole position. Through the right-hander, Pika to Pato. According to the race weekend weather conditions, it's going to be nice weather for ducks in the race, so that's rather appropriate. Holds it narrow, and it's 4 seconds down, so they're nowhere near pushing. However, riding on board with the Aston Martin driver, not even using any battery. So away we go for another lap. Pushing to the limit, here in Throttle Till You Bottle. Ran out of ERS and bottled Sector 2. Well, you know what? With both of those factors taken into account, the fact that you are still P4 is absolutely remarkable. Tanadran's already invalidated their lap. They're not going to improve. Kylo Ren, are they improving, though? Yes. It's close, but yes. They are improving. Rose Q Pro, you have Pro in your name. No pressure. This means we only expect greatness. That's the only way this is going to go. 17-4. It's probably good. I can't quite remember. You are quite right, though, Pat Mike. There is going to be M25 levels of traffic for Rose Q Pro to have to deal with. Through Ferradura and entering the Tesco car park section. Through the left-hander, they're going to be face-to-face with a raging Red Bull. And Williams wonders and all of that stuff. I'm sending my strength like that scene in Dragon Ball. Infinity, you are literally being given a spirit bomb. The blueprint is there. This is your moment. Speaksy going wild and wide, and it's 8 tenths down. 1 minute 8.266 for the American Dream. And surveying the runoff areas. It's absolutely beautiful. Infinity then. Here come those final flurry of laps, ladies and gentlemen. Who will dare to take the glory and the honour and the glamour of pole position? Looked a little bit sideways and squinted on that next curve, but is going to catch up to a V-carb up ahead. And I think that might be Liam, who's on an outlap. And yes, it is Liam on an outlap. They need to get out of the way as quickly as possible, because that could be Infinity's qualifying completely squandered. Through Pico de Pato, there you go, pushing still to the limit. There might still be an advantage to have if the time loss is not that bad. Could still be a tow given by the V-Carb driver. Still, a purple sector too, and it is a clean exit out of the final corner. Tanidran will be the first to cross the line. What will it be? It's not an improvement. It remains P6. What can Infinity do? Tow to the line. It's still P4. But even so, improves the arrears for the Kick Sauber team. Mackie across the line, P11. It will be no more than that. Next McLaren of Fortis. Where do they end up? 15 thousandths up by a tenth, and it puts them ahead of their teammate. An all McLaren fourth row for the time being. Still plenty of times to be found. Freyavos across the line. Can't find the improvement on this occasion. Kitty Katie across the line does find substantial improvement. And Haas, our line astern as well. Duty goes for... Okay, Duty. Duty goes fastest. Yuri can't quite do it. Sneck won't be able to. Sneck has squandered it. Adam Sanderson can't improve either. Duty, out of the blue, paints the town red. 1 minute 7.260 as Chaldenby and everybody else look to provide that final cutthroat challenge. When Duty calls, Duty serves. It's pole position for the Ferrari team. Aston Martin have got Trifle Leclerc. There you go, your name's Trifle now. Even so, no improvement to be found from the Aston Martin. Peels into pit row. That will conclude this qualifying session. Sneck says, screw that T4 curb. I agree. It's horrible. I don't like it either. But even so, one driver out there, intertwined with every single apex, in perfect harmony in Interlagos. Duty, your pole sitter, by over a tenth of a second. Great efforts, by the way, from the likes of Chaldenby and from Yuri as well. Great stuff from them. Infinity did manage to get that improvement. Kept P5 in the end. How about that? Not a bad showing at all. However, Capit is going to be... Oh, right. Roll is Trifle. Just call you Roll. Thank you. I will remember that now. With that being said, here's your qualifying order. Duty takes pole position. How about that? But the rampant Romanian, hot on his heels. Chaldenby P3 with Yuri in P4. Infinity Candyfloss in 5th with Adam Sanderson on debut in P6. Arthur Way in 7th, who's just left the lobby. Not ideal. Spaceboy in 8th. Fortis in 9th. Tanadran rounds out the top 10 with Beaksy, Kitty Katie, Mackie, Kylo Ren, Liam, Rosekey Pro, Roll, also known as Trifle, Highwire, Freya Voss, and Ollie in the Mercedes rounds out our grid lineup. Chicken Lord quite rightly does mention try the Jeddah T6 outside curb. And, well, you are quite right. As hello, welcome back to this lovely screen and my absolutely beautiful visit. Oh my god, it's raining cats and dogs. Holy moly. Somebody call Moses. It's going to be a wet and wild and wacky race. And I'm so looking forward to it. Full wet. Well, that's the way it's going to go. And I know what you're all thinking. Carl, we can't see you. What are you doing? Well, let me tell you why. Because on Monday, I was having a nice wholesome stream, just ranking some tier list wildcards. And guess what? Apparently, 100% of the population is taller than me. So this is now your favourite 2'8" streamer. Thanks for coming. That was also way too much effort. I need to get back up now. Not like this. Flexibility is not one of my strong suits, but here we go. Forehead camera guitar, not like this. Don't do this to me. I don't think my forehead's that bad, is it? Right. What we're going to do quickly as we go into race day. Normally in dry conditions, Interlagos, almightily aggressive on the tyre wear. Insanely aggressive, in fact. It's a 2-stop, more often than not. You can do a 1-stop, but it is very, very risky. And your tyres will be hurting at the end, even if you do manage to be successful. 2-stop is by far and away the most popular strategy, and the easiest way to go, get the most out of the tyres, just put your foot to the floor all the way through, and it is a great, great time. Capit's saying, I think everyone should start on hards. I agree. Make it interesting. Slick work, some could say, if you know what I'm saying. Wait a second. Okay. Okay, I waited. What do you have now? What do you have now? Good advice. That is pretty good advice. Also, the question is, of course, in these heavy, wet conditions, 1, if it is going to dry out quickly, and 2, do you risk going for the intermediate tyres? Do you risk that? That is the big question. We've got to see. It's the legend. Oh, thank you, man. Good to see you, Blue-Q. Hope you're doing well. I loved your clip reviewing on Creator Series. Thank you. I do my best. I don't know. I always it's a tricky one, being clip but Carl, I suppose, is the best way of putting it. Not necessarily because it's a tricky thing to do. I love doing it, but, you know, it depends what time in the race they kind of cut to you, because you feel like the moment's kind of passed with a lot of them. So, yeah, it's a tricky one. Learn from Gillen. Nah, I have my way, he has his way. But, like, it's tricky when you do it in the live, because you're like, you want to show off absolutely everything, but you don't want to... You don't want it to be in abundance. You don't want to oversaturate the amount of clips that you show off. As Chicken Lord 358, welcome for the follow. What happened to your first 357 Chicken Lords? That's my question. Forgot Park Fermo was on. Apparently, it's a full wet race the whole way through. Okay. Okay. This is going to be fun. Yes, W Chicken Lord. Absolute legend. Bow down to the Chicken Lord. We are not worthy. Should have put on my big wings. Yes, big wings were always welcome, especially in a race as damp as this. I'm doing great. No, good to hear it, man. Good to hear it. I'm glad you're along for the ride. Brazilian Grand Prix. Time for 10 safety cars. You know what, Roll? If we had 10 safety cars... I don't know what I'd do, actually. I was thinking of something creative, but I don't have anything. There you go. Just drink a Red Bull, will give you more wings. See, Guitar knows. Guitar knows. And if you want to be a complete demon, drink Monster. And if you want to get your tyres up to temperature, drink Celsius. And insert other drink here, basically. Haas to test tyres from Mexico. Snow tyres. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. We are readying up. Thank you so much, Roll. Good stuff. Completely forgot I could have had a brief little chat with Duty, although by no means is it an obligation. I am here if he so wants to chat, but I am the overlord of waffle. That's what I self-proclaim myself as anyway. And if you're thirsty, first eat drinks. No. Oh my god. Not like this. F125 is here. The beautiful Brazilian Grand Prix. It's a wet and wild race. It's lights out. And away we go. And Duty seems to plant the power down absolutely beautifully. Not so much in that second phase, but it's Chaldenby who tries to go through. But Infinity completely overcooks it. And to pick up the pieces, it's Yuri and Adam Sanderson on the inside. It's the Alpine Ace that makes light work of a couple of places already. Up into P4s already. The car is off in the background. Mackie goes round. And already the race sent into perpetual turmoil, as is Fortis in the runoff area. The absolute worst possible start. The V-carb of Liam going wide, as it is CQC situations between Rose Q and Highwire. Usually a solid snake, but it has to be a bit of a liquid situation. Front wing damage for Highwire though. Big contact, and that is going to hurt even more so in these conditions. But Duty keeps it clean off the start. Snake defense successfully from Chowdamy in P3. Yuri prizes P4 away from Adam Sanderson in 5th. Infinity 6th. Spaceboy in 7th. Arthur Way in 8th. Kitty Katie, great start from them. Up to P9. Tanidran rounds out the top 10, but is struggling in the wet conditions. Beatsy all over them. It's down the inside. Goes Arthur Way. Spaceboy, read all about it, because you've been telegraphed, sunshine. Sensational switchback from the Red Bull driver. That's, oh no, Beaksy! Beaksy with an error. And it could have been contact even with Tanadran. Regardless, drops anchor in the wet conditions down to P16, but not too much time lost. And plenty of this race to go. Down the inside, when Yuri turns to the outside for the second phase, has the advantage in that third and final phase, but momentum favours the outside line. So Chowdenby will burn the battery. And look at Adam Sanderson getting aggressive down the inside. Fantastic, outstanding opportunism to try and make the move work. Not quite on this occasion, and has to be careful now and wary of Infinity behind. Into Ferradura we go. Sanderson chooses the outside. Infinity chooses the inside. Endless possibilities. The same outcome though, it's the same positions. Why do I bother? But regardless, already the gloves are off and the power slides are out in force. Arthur Wade does eventually get past Space Boy at the right-hander into P7, and expect plenty of brutal battles between those two, as already, of course, Roll and Fortis came out of the pit lane. Fortis just making their way out already. An insane margin to try and find, but the good news for them, ladies and gentlemen, is first down to 20th score points. So regardless of where you are, as Mackie making moves, through they go on Ollie, and that's the reason why, because Ollie has gone for some lawn mowing. Luckily, re-enters the track and has front wing damage to boot. That is not ideal. Fastest laps being set left, right and centre. Arthur Way, ascendancy in the Williams camp in the wet conditions. 124. I think the only 124 that has been set here is absolutely rapid in the rainy conditions. And Jensen, if you weren't excited about this race before, you'd better get excited now, because things just got very interesting. Top four looking to break away. Chowdenby closing in on Sneck, but as the dirty air becomes even worse, the closer he gets to a potential recoil and strike. Yuri taking that narrower line. Nothing doing though once again, and that compromise brings Adam Sanderson back into play, then Infinity, and then Arthur Way. He's my man I want to watch again. Infinity with a slide on the exit. Patience is a virtue in these conditions, particularly on the full wets, particularly on the traction. All of them sliding, synchronized sliding. Out of peak at the Pato as Arthur makes a mistake, goes wide after taking it too narrow at the left-hander, but keeps it clean, keeps it together, and is firmly in the hunt. Here comes Sneck, though, and is this the opportunity for the championship leader? Gets an absolute wheelbarrow full of understeer, as again those fastest laps come flooding in. Infinity now holds the fastest lap card close to their chest, a 124.2, as Mackie and Freya going into combat. It's Beaksy, Mackie and Freya, the triple threat, giving us a sensational squabble. Further down the field, it's front wing damage for Mackie, but they won't give up. Absolutely not. You love to see it. So down the inside goes to Williams. It's contact on the sideboard of Beaksy, and Freya could look to capitalise if the outside line favours the Red Bull, but Beaksy gets it all completely crossed up, and Mackie swashbuckles their way through. It's a plundering for P15. Beaksy, though, will not give this up. What a battle for P15 in this race already. And it's only lap 4. A snap on the exit for Mackie means here goes Beaksy again to try this way and that way, but Mackie will not budge. As soon as they get to the corners, though, the vulnerability is clear for all to see. Losing time, hand over fist. They all are by battling, but we absolutely love to see it. Duty keeping their composure in the wet conditions. Already a 9th of the way through this race with Sneck not too far behind. Then there's Chowdenby, Yuri, Adam Sanderson, Infinity, and Arthur Way. 7-car train as Highwire goes through on Kylo Ren, as does Liam, as more drivers pushing the limits and exceeding said limits. Synchronized sliding as it always seems to be. And Sneck is struggling to keep up with Duty. Just went it in a bit too hot, a bit too wild and wide in the first section of the Center S. And Chowdenby with a great white shark approach, smelling blood in the water and apex predator instincts as they clip every single corner to perfection. Even so, the dirty air not letting them get close enough in range, as Duty has bolted over a second ahead, but can they keep that margin? Sneck usually seems to be quite strong in Sector 2. Famous last words. Also, Pat Mike does make a very good point. A 5-second penalty from the previous race for Infinity is carried over for this race. So wherever they are, mathematically, we'll have to work it out. It's going to be even worse for them because they're plummeting down the pecking order potentially. Arthur Way with a chance again, though. Goes too narrow. Gets it caught on the curb. And as a result, it just compromises their momentum. No chance to fight. Going on to that final part of the lap and almost binning it to boot. Everybody pushing like crazy out there as Duty, 123.6, sending out a statement. Here comes Chowderby though, down the inside. Sneck does leave room, has to leave room. There is just enough of an impetus to do so. Through the third section, of course, no DRS, even though Chicken Lord is saying, well, why not open it? He wishes he could. Sneck goes defensive. Chowderby with a great chance. Sends the momentum round the outside, but not enough grip to assist the overtaking opportunity. Arthur Way does get past Infinity. Through goes the Williams into P6. The man with the excellent early acclimatization to the wet conditions is looking for even more. Of course, this comes to a compromise of setup as well. Did any of them go for those higher wings, seeing the full wet race? Duty perhaps might have put a bit of wing on, but Sneck and him about equal in terms of pace. It's Arthur Way who is gaining 10th after 10th after 10th, corner after corner after corner. Absolutely flying out there. Again, everybody squirrely on the exit. It's about how quickly you can get that car in a straight line, how much confidence you have, the earliest you can plant the ERS overtake power on, and see what opens up for yourself. Arthur Way with a 23.2. Arthur Way scything his way through the field, down the inside. It's an academic move. No real resistance put up, and the Williams driver ascends into the top 5. What an early stage from Arthur Way. More moves being made. Mackey's on the move. This time not on the receiving end of the overtaking punishment. They're on the aggressive side of it. Past Kylo Ren. The new order has been completely wiped out. And a cracking exit. Nice sponsor from Mackey. Next target up the road. It's a contactless transaction situ. The 7-car train is returning, by the way. Sneck is just finding a couple attempts on this particular lap. Loses a bit of time at the entry of Pico de Pato, but that snap is all the invitation Sneck needs to continue snowballing that confidence up. That's the main thing. Out of the final corner. Now, under 8 tenths the gap. Duty beginning to struggle on traction on their rear tyres. Perhaps feeling the pressure a little bit more than they would have been hoping as we head rapidly onto lap number 8. And therefore, you guessed it, 2/9 of the way through this Grand Prix. Capit's not happy. He says, you have to be kidding me. Relax. Relax, man. Oh, Arthur Way round the outside at the 3rd section of the Senna S. Unbelievable. Call upon the Interlagos crowd. It's like their hero in full flow. An otherworldly start to the race for the Williams driver. And there's plenty more where that came from, I suspect. They seem to be absolutely infinitely strong through this 2nd section. We'll ride on board with Arthur Way to see what they're doing. The answer is probably getting track limits, I'll be honest with you. But hugging the inside, using the higher gears, looking for that traction, and does find that traction to an extent, although Chowdenby and Sneck not willing to wait around. And I'm quite possibly putting inadvertent commentary pressure on Arthur Way by watching him, so let's not watch him. Let's watch somebody else. Into the pits comes Liam, though, and out of the pits subsequently. Possibly damage incurred. And the back of the field very much spread out. It's Tadidran the next target for some of these drivers. On board with the McLaren Maestro. AJ's cooking. I might have to switch sides. Nah, you can't. You can't be shirking on your allegiance, sunshine. We cannot be doing that. mentality. The traction control potentially cutting out so aggressively. You'll be hard-pressed to see a front wing anywhere from about P11 downwards. Sanadran has one, but Highwire doesn't, Mackie doesn't, Kylo Ren possibly doesn't either. Still no change in the order, in the top 7 from the last lap at least. Arthur Way, though, catching constantly. And it's now just a 5-car train because Adam Sanderson and Infinity, they've been uncoupled from this one. It turns into a dynamic duel and dogfight to see who will retrieve the treats from this Brazilian battle. Ollie and Roll having a nice battle. Through the final corner they go. Who gets on the power with the most confidence? The answer is it's Ollie for the moment, but look at this. Round the outside, showing the nose. A phenomenal power slide. Doesn't endear them to any particular pace, but here comes Roll to the inside. Just enough room left by Ollie as they break into turn 1. Ollie super late on the brakes, but it's just too late and too hot to handle. Roll keeps it cool and through they go into P18. Beautiful battle though. Speaking of beautiful, check out Kick Sauber's progress. Rose Q Pro, hello. Sorry, we'll have to reward Rose Q with flowers on this particular occasion. They're just closing in on Kitty Katie for P9. That's so British. Kitty Katie. Remember your consonants, lads. Come on. Unbelievable. Lap number 10 of the Brazilian Grand Prix and throttle till your bottle. We're hearing predictions. AJ going to be a little too aggressive and spin someone round. It is entirely possible. Although they haven't quite made the progress they would have been hoping for in recent laps. Chowden be keeping them at arm's length. It's Sneck actually who has built up their confidence enough. He's closing in on duty. Keeping it narrow, looking for the traction. Car not providing it, but is getting Chowderby outside of a second. Wide from duty. And Sneck spots the opportunity to then take it narrow. Get some tremendous clean air over the front wing. As Highwire and Mackie go into combat. Through goes Highwire once again. Tanadran and co, they're all losing so much time. But the battles are brilliant. So who cares? AJ is the GOAT. According to Jensen, it might well be Sneck we're going to have to feast our eyes upon. Has been building up to this moment. You can feel it from a mile away. Fastest lap of the race is Yuri actually who takes the fastest lap. 122.9. Track is improving all the time here. There might well be questions of whether the intermediates can come into their own in this race, but at the moment, it's raining cats and dogs. What do you think's going to happen? By the way, bad news, Capit. I hate to have to be the bearer of bad news, but Infinity's made a mistake. They're 3 seconds down. Anyway, here comes Sneck with a very good opportunity, but goes wide again. That dirty air catching out the championship leader, as it has caught so many of them out so far. And as a result, again, we'll keep it close. All you have to do at the end of the day is pile on the pressure. Hope the animals don't die when they fall, says Blue Q. Don't worry, we don't condone that here. Mackie and Kylo Ren side by side down the straight. Could they capitalise on Highwire as well? No, they remain side by side. Through Decina del Lago. It might as well be a lake with how wet it is at Interlagos. And Kylo Ren moves through into P13. Mackie, though, with a second bite of the cherry. So nice, they're going to do it twice. Not today, though. Ferragura will not open up. So much pressure from Sneck. Once again. Burning all of the battery. As they head into turn number 1. Once again, a third of the way through this Grand Prix. Duty has been our race leader from lights out, but has got a lot of work to do to keep it that way. Arthur Way, though, has managed to catch up to Chowdenby. And we'll see if utmost aggression is applied. We'll find out again. Everybody just sliding on the rear. Well, the way the car moved, I thought there was contact for a second, but there can't have been because Yuri is... I was going to say, he's not... This is a country mile, that's harsh. He's not that far away at all. Through Ferragura they go. Once again, 5-car Snake. Speaking of solid Snake, here he is. Colonel, he's received orders. He has to try and take down the target. Easier said than done, though. I will be honest with you. They are catching up to back markers already, though. Ollie is the first one that they are going to find before too long. He's just heading through the final corner as just one corner behind. A luscious leadership battle again. Kicking the rear of the car out on the brakes. Perhaps just running too rearward on the brake bias. Or just being too confident in their braking zone. And Sneck has the best opportunity yet. Once again, they will burn the battery all the way down this straight. Once again, though, Duty manages to answer the query of Sneck. Kylo Ren and Maki again swapping positions, this time through the left-hander. And I must say, for sheer entertainment, well done, you two. Absolutely electric. Can't be too electric, though, because if you try and use electricity in this particular weather condition, you know what happens. Katie's into the pits, though. I don't think that's for damage. That might well be tyre wear, or perhaps a gargantuan gamble for intermediate tyres. Could it be? Yes, I think it is. Intermediate tyres, okay. Now we'll really see who has the rub of the green of this Interlagos track. As again, Arthur Way gets very, very close to Chowderby. They're all catching up though, and onto the grass. Dipping a wheel is Arthur Way, and could that be Yuri's golden ticket to snatching away P4 once again? Not at the moment. Manages to regain it with a chockful of understeer inducement. That's through. Go Sneck into the lead. Another mistake from the race leader at the early stages. It's Duty who falls foul to it. Sneck and Chowderby go through, and Sneck's momentum compromised. Can Chowderby cut his way through to take the race lead? Sneck goes late on the brakes, as late as possible. A bit of contact as they look to make their way through. Arthur Way going into combat with Duty. At the moment, it's the Ferrari that has the ascendancy, but here comes the Williams. Down the straight, burning the battery all the way through. Has to be very, very careful that Yuri doesn't take advantage of any potential squabbles. But no, remain as they were from third down to fifth. Sneck, though, takes the race lead. Fell by the wayside at the Belgian Grand Prix last time out. This time, Ascension has been found. Tanadran into the pit lane, meanwhile. So I'm trying to see what kind of pace Katie has on those intermediate tyres. We'll see what the gap is like to Kylo Ren and co. over this next lap as more and more people get those intermediate tyres strapped onto their respective wagons. And yes, the time is coming down little by little. So potentially a chance as Ollie has another moment. I think he's just getting well out of the way of cars as to not disrupt the flow of their race. Perhaps Duty was caught out anyway, but we'll soon see what the leaders do. Perhaps they just probably want to use the wets as much as possible and then only have to do one stop onto the intermediate tyres when the time comes. By the way, all of the battling on the previous lap, Adam Sanderson gained a second on the front five as a result. So they can't afford to fight too much or make too many mistakes. You know what happens next if you do. Bevan Duttler will be on his way. There he is, just in the foreground of shot as we cut past Casino Largo. Spaceboy goes through because Infinity has rolled the dice. Infinite intermediate tyre glory. And round they go. Infinity, by the way, has got front wing damage. I'm not even going to ask how he's managed to do that, but all I can say is, cap it, it's not going to be happy. Why is the Sith Lord Kylo Ren Racing? Well, I'll be honest, Kylo Ren Racing can't be any worse than his Death Star endeavours, which have... we know how they ended. Katie moves up into P12 because look who's in the pits. It's Kylo Ren. I don't know who's the fastest on the track. The answer is it isn't Arthur Way, because sweeping round the outside is Yuri. Magnificent manoeuvre into P4. Ferrari finding the ascendancy once again. And in their quest for the Constructors' Championship, can only be a good thing. Lap number 16 of Throttle Tier Bottle. Round number 10. Sneck your race leader. Chowdenby once again keeping the front of the field. Very, very honest. Duty in P3, Yuri, we saw the outstanding overtake into P4. Arthurway in P5. Adam Sanderson, though, rolls the dice, hoping it doesn't come out snake eyes. Speaking of snake, well, he's got to think about when he's coming into pit. Because that is 2 now of the front 7 that have made that potential gamble onto intermediate tyres. Infinity hasn't really found anything out of it, though. Rather unfortunately for him, Adam Sanderson will exit out of pit row, remaining in P6 of this race, and does very, very well not to clatter into pit lane's barrier. As much of a respectable fellow he is, don't play dirty with him, he will slap you across the chops. Out onto the track goes the Alpine ace, and we'll be keeping a very close eye on proceedings on the intermediate front, remaining at 23.4 for now. Sneck getting wild, very tail and trigger happy through the final few corners. The car dancing around as he looks to extract as much pace as possible, as indeed there is a bit of time gain for the Alpine of Sanderson. Does that mean there's a response from any of the front 5? No, they remain out on track as Yuri sets a 1:22. Chowdenby super late on the brakes, and I don't know whether he meant to go for it or whether he meant to send it that hard into the centre S's. Did manage to get it stopped though. Almost had his nose alongside. And Sneck would have maybe been caught in 2 minds, but said absolutely not. I'm on a ruthless streak. But all is well from the front 2. Actually, it was Star Killer base. It was basically Death Star V2. Let's be honest here. But you're right, it was terrible regardless. Rose Q into the pit lane as well. A good race for Kicksauer by all accounts. Opened up their points account when all was said and done last week at the Belgian Grand Prix, looking to extend that account. But Rose was racing Kitty Katie. Let's remember that. So where do they emerge compared to Kitty Katie? They are the last pit row to be exited, and where does the American Dream emerge? Amongst the lean green machine. Through the centre S's goes the Haas driver, and I'll tell you what, the undercut has worked. Through goes Kitty Katie into P9. Rose Q, who was pretty close before, doesn't lose a huge amount of time, but regardless, it's about half a second that undercut has garnered. And the track getting faster and faster all the time, or so allegedly it is. Not really much of an impression the intermediates are making, to be quite honest. Cha-ching, says Chicken Lord. Absolutely. Oh no! Rolls had a moment. Onto for some lawn mowing once again. Guitar, you better start that lawn mowing business soon, because you're going to be a millionaire by the end of this. No harm done, no physical damage. Oh no, there is actually. Well, it's mostly emotional. Into the pit lane goes Roll as we have reached the fulcrum point of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And is that the first person to bow out of Brazilian proceedings? I certainly hope not, and I doubt it will be, but we shall soon find out. Into the pit lane for a new nose and front wing. No, Roll will not be bowing out of this race, and that is great stuff. I am very, very glad about that, because it is very, very easy to throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm not really fighting for anything. That's the end of my race. But you know what? The thing is, you are fighting for something. You are fighting for something. And it's points, because they're first down to 20. Sneck enters the pit lane. I saw that coming from a mile away. Completely overcooked it. A 10-second time penalty for the then race leader. And Chowdenby is licking his lips, because there is a whole meal of victory to lap up for the V-Carb driver. Out of the pit lane, when eventually they release themselves, never mind, there's aliens. There's always got to be aliens, hasn't there? Intermediate tyres, as I predicted. They were just waiting to bring the wet tyres all the way through to make sure they could only have to make one stop onto intermediates, and that would be that. Duty and Arthurway, though, stay out for another lap. Again, Guitar, by the way, if you want to start a front wing business while you're at it, go ahead, because, like, literally, it's hard to find anyone with a full complement of end plates right now. Unbelievable. Arthurway and co. still pushing very hard. even with a slight compromise in front efficiency. And the time is coming down, and very, very much so coming down on the intermediate tires. As, oh, hello, I see a virtual safety car. And that has played right into the hands of Duty and AJ. See some debris on the main straight. Who on earth has gone? The answer is it's Ollie, who's gone out with the center S's. And that is a full safety car. Mackie going past the crash site. There was the stricken Mercedes man. And suddenly, Duty and Arthur Wade have a golden ticket into the lead of this race. And it will mean a free front wing change as well. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. By the way, I don't know how they're going to be sorting out all the lap traffic. As, what? Arthur, what? Are you sure you meant to put wets on? Are you sure you meant to put wets on? Pretty much everyone's going to pit, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Sneck went wets as well. Yeah, I saw that. Sneck also went wets, but is he actually? He's serving his 10-second time penalty now. It's the longest wait in the world in Formula 1, a 10-second time penalty. Does choose the Inters in the end, though. Great news for him. Adam Sanderson, though, interestingly, has also gone into... Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, my... Is that 20 seconds worth of penalties for Arthur Way? Roller's got a 10-second time penalty as well. As there was a severe collision with Beaksy and ignoring yellow flags for the now race leader. Unbelievable. Chowdenby as well has managed to sandwich himself in between this lead group. When all is said and done, moments of madness manufacturing themselves here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. What on earth has gone on? Roll, by the way, is right in the middle of this train. Hopefully, they will let Roll through and then they can get on their merry, merry way. By the way, these are the gaps to the leader, apparently. Yeah, it's broken. It's completely broken. I don't quite understand what's going on either. Rose Q, though, is back into the pit lane. What is the tyre situation? The answer is Rose Q has gone onto a fresh set of intermediate tyres, which is about as much as I expected. Rose Q, though, able to go flat out on the pit exit, although might be caught by the Delta if they're not careful, has managed to use that momentum brilliantly and go into P11. Fantastic stuff for them. As, oh, Arthur Way... Oh, Arthur Way. My heart breaks for him. It really does. 20 seconds worth of time penalties. And many people saying that AJ's thrown it. I can't quite believe it's managed to get away from him in this situation, but it has. The Williams Wonder bows out of this Brazilian spectacle. And as a result, Chowdenby finds himself at the forefront of this race. Duty in P2. Look who's in P3. Adam Sanderson is in the podium places. And has made that gamble to go onto the full wet tyres. Arthur Way was the only other one, well, apart from Infinity as well. Arthur Way, the other car in the lead trained to do so. So suddenly, things just got, inadvertently, very, very interesting. Adam Sanderson in P1. Blue Coup, you never know. It could absolutely be possible. Blue Coup giving the applause and adulation to the Blue Crew because it might well be a masterstroke from the French connection. For those of you that have just joined, welcome along to the Throttle to Your Bottle Racing League. As, oh my god, front wing damage. Freya Voss has just chipped off some of their nose cone, and that will be a 10-second time penalty for the Red Bull as well. Unbelievable. While you're at it, guitarist, start out a penalties business as well. Just don't put Manchester United on it, clearly, because that didn't go well. Soon to breach lap number 21 of this race, and you know what that means? You know what that means? Oh, never mind. Well, we were 7/12ths of the way through the Grand Prix, but now we are 11/18ths of the way through. How about that for monstrous mathematics? The story so far, like I was saying, welcome along to the Throttle to Your Bottle Racing League. It's great to have you along for the ride. Great to see so many of you engaging in chat and enjoying all of the spectacle. If you do want to get involved, by the way, bunch of commands in the title. For instance, TTYB, Discord, if you put exclamation mark socials, by the way, that will show you all of the commands for all of the socials, so you can get involved and be part of the community, and all of the goings-on. Socials, plural. Sorry, Blueco, I didn't make that very clear. But socials with an S at the end, to show you all of the ways you can get involved. Big announcements, by the way. TTYB made their way to 100 members very recently in the Discord. Be a part of the Discord. We're getting next target 200 members. Help us on our way there. Infinity saying Inters weren't very good. That is interesting. I'm not really surprised, Rupitol, because the rain has not relented. It is still absolutely lashing it down out there. By the way, Roll is still stuck in this safety car train. This poor man. Let him be. But alas, it will not be today. Safety car in this lap. And Chowdenby will control the pace. As more penalties coming. Kylo Ren's got a 3 seconds behind the safety car. Rose Q has got a 3 seconds behind the safety car. How on earth? It's a safety. I'm losing my mind out here. But when will Chowdenby pull that trigger? When will we go racing? The answer is right now. And ladies and gentlemen, we're back to racing speed here in TTYB Brazil. Chowdenby, your race leader, Duty in P2, and Adam Sanderson and co. have to phase through absolutely everybody to make their way through to the front of the field. Sneck in P4, Yuri in 5th, Infinity in 6th, Freya Voss bows out, has crashed out in the pit lane, I think that is. Dearie, dearie me, we might be able to see it. No, we won't, because the FIA don't care. It's another safety car. Freya Voss has that's probably the shortest racing stint I've ever seen in my life. But there we go. Another safety car. So all of that hard work to phase through the traffic has been put asunder. At least Adam is 2 cars closer, though, to the lead train in the context of his race, as is Sneck and co. Although Sneck actually has been separated by the V-car with Liam. So V-Carb working together inadvertently. They might not have thought it initially, but that is the way the cookie has crumbled. Oh no, Infinity has left the session. That is not good. Fortis has got a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That is really not good. And it's all happening again. Well, there we go, guys. Another slight parade behind Burnt Mylander for a little bit. He's hogging the screen time. I do apologise. But that is the way the cookie hath crumbled. We've lost 3 in this race now. Ollie in the Mercedes. Arthur Way, who had 20 seconds worth of penalties after all sorts of chaos and conundrums behind the first safety car. And Freya Voss, who has crashed in the pit lane. I'm just getting this in now from Team Radio. I can report that it was steering failure. Deary me. Oh, the damnedest of things, honestly. Freya Voss hit with the most unlucky streak of reliability. And there's no real consolation. Other than, well, at least you get to be involved in watching the chaos with me. We are back. Infinity Candy saying, invite me again. Why have I just heard the... That's why Fortis is gone. I thought I heard an absolute explosion. And that, well, there you go. The McLaren's gone. Right, I'm inviting Infinity Candy, who I am pretty sure I do have added, unless they've already been invited by somebody else. There we go, Infinity Candy Floss. Get yourself back in. Oh, my God. What is going on? Why has Infinity gone through on Yuri? Has Yuri tried to let through some lap traffic or something? Because Infinity has just gone through on Sneck. What on earth has gone on there? My AI did that. I was going to say... Well, you've gained a position, mate. Enjoy it. You're up to P5 now, inadvertently. So I think more and more drivers being sent through. Fortis is gone, so that means there's one less car for Adam Sanderson to worry about. And now no cars for Adam Sanderson to... But there's actually cars for Adam Sanderson to worry about. They didn't orchestrate it properly. It's big man ting. It's not looking good, Brev. But even so, while they sort that out, please don't run into each other. Good God. There was enough penalties from the previous one. Let's just take a chill pill here. Sneck is looking to try and get through on Liam. The answer is, Sneck's got front wing damage, and so has no choice but to go into the pit lane, sumptuously sideways. And unlike the first time where they sped into pit row, that is much more graceful. 10 out of 10, honestly. Fortis saying Mackie ruined my race from turn 1, lap 1. Yeah, I saw. To call it not ideal is a bit of an understatement. Capit saying Infinity comeback. Saying Infinity's AI is doing better. Right. Well, this poor guy, man, honestly. Pedro Neto 712. A man of my own heart. Shout outs to Pedro Neto. Thank you for following the TTYB show, as that is the most useless camera shot of all time. Yes, that is what the grandstands look like. Sneck makes their way out of the pit lane, but there is a lot of work to do. Infinity has joined back in, by the way. Of course, now up to P4. Ain't that good? And, of course, the tricky thing is, if they try and let people through, the AI of Infinity is going to overtake the likes of Adam Sanderson, the likes of Liam in the V car. Please don't hit into anyone. Oh, my God. It's way too close. Infinity's having big problems getting in. This is not ideal. Not good at all for the Kick Sauber. It's been a good race by all accounts. But this could be where it all unravels. Through no fault of their own, technical gremlins. Their session doesn't exist. Yeah, it does. Yeah, restart the game. That's the best way of doing about it. Pat Mike is absolutely right. So the story of TTYB round 10 so far. The answer is, well, Duty and Sneck seem to be in a league of their own for a long time. We had a 7-car train that quickly became uncoupled. But nonetheless, it was looking like the Duty show up at the front. Led from lights out and then made a mistake. Same as what Sneck did. No real pressure at the front of the field. Dropped it all by themselves. Albeit in very tricky conditions, but that allowed Sneck to go through, allowed Challenby to go through. Bunch of drivers gambled on the intermediate tyres, but ultimately, the leaders waited, just wanting to make that one pit stop. Sneck and co came in when the time was right, but a 10-second time penalty for Sneck meant they were nowhere near being in the conversation for the lead after that. They managed to get it removed after that first safety car, but with front wing damage, out of the top 5 in P12 at the moment for the championship leader. And at the moment, at least, a race weekend to forget, as we will have just over 10 tours to go at this particular point of the race. So Chaldenby, our race leader. It's a love-hate relationship between Capit and Infinity, let's be honest. What you think I'm doing right now? It's fixed! Get in! Infinity, do you need another invite? Say now, because I have a feeling the safety car is going to be coming in. Invite again. Okay, oh God. Please don't. Safety car, don't do this to me. Don't do this! There you go, you've been invited. Welcome. Safety car in! At the end of this lap, Infinity, get yourself in. It's pretty important that you do, I'm not going to lie. So once again, Chaldenby will control the pace right at the front of the field. Sneck has joined the back of the queue, as will Tanadran. Beaksy might just catch on in the nick of time, but Chaldenby might well pull the trigger earlier. Of course, pulled it about here last time and has done the exact same thing again. They say lightning won't strike twice. Here, it's an absolutely critical condition you're left in if it does. But we are back racing once again. Adam Sanderson immediately let through. Rain absolutely relentless, lashing down on the Interlagos circuit. It's Chaldenby that leads at the moment. Duty in P2, Adam Sanderson in P3, Yuri in 4th, Infinity in 5th. I believe has managed to get back in. And yeah, no they haven't, not yet. No, they haven't yet. Stop committing. Bro, honestly, miscommunications from EA, it means they're going to plummet down the order. Look at Adam Sanderson, though. People saying the intermediates didn't feel that good. And immediately, the Alpine driver up into P2. And the conversation for the win is on. We talked about the optimal cookage in this race. And I think we found it. The wet tyres. Who else is on wet tyres, though? Infinity is on wet tyres. That's no consolation. They're still in AI. Beaksy could win this race. Stop the count right now. Chowderby with a mistake, though. And there's the wet tyres. Adam Sanderson surges into the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. Bet it all on the blue stripe wet tyres, and it's all come out top trumps. But Chowderby's not done yet. He will continue to fight the good fight. He's been so close so many times and does manage to beat Adam Sanderson in the braking zone. Through he goes, back into B1. But look at the traction. The Alpine runs relentless. And again, hogging that slipstream, you feel it's only a matter of time here. If the rain continues as it is, and it absolutely will. The wet tyres do have a part to play. Duty, the front Ferrari making a mistake. Speaking of mistakes, Katie gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits as Yuri does go through. More so than that, Duty has gone astronomically wide through Ferragura. Not ideal whatsoever. Chance for Adam in the chat. This is absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, my heart goes out to you as well, Arthur. I have no idea, honestly. How unlucky again. Oh my god! Down the inside! An absolutely unbelievable opportunistic switchback. Again, for the second time this race, Adam Sanderson leads. And could that be the nail in the coffin? Chowderby will burn absolutely everything. He's got all the battery in the world to burn. As he gains and gains and gains and gains some more. Surges to the outside line. Looks to go all the way round. But the avenue is blocked. And the Alpine reigns supreme. Adam Sanderson leads the Brazilian Grand Prix. As people are saying, the AI difficulty is too... Oh my god, Infinity. Infinity's cooking. This is it. Infinity could still win this race, ladies and gentlemen. Adam Sanderson, though, leads. When was the last time we saw a reserve lead on debut and maybe even win? You're right, Safso at Monaco. Monaco, of course, basically a procession and a procedure, but it's all about the glitz and the glamour at Monte Carlo. Here in Brazil, a track teamed with just as much, if not even more history. And more TTYB history. Potentially about to be written a purple sector too from Adam Sanderson. He is just drifting left, right and centre. Escaping off into the distance. But it's Yuri who'll pile on the pressure. The next target up ahead. Chowderby very much has to have his wits about him. He's getting battery to burn. Oh, jeez. 121.8. The leader is absolutely gone, girl. Can you believe it? Didn't put him in the conversation early on, but it's an inspired strategy call. Under the safety car. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Again, a bit of time lost through Sector 1, but finding the confidence elsewhere. It's Chowderby looking to push. Perhaps the inters were just a bit cold initially, but we'll see what it's like again through Sector 2. Finding the time through Ferragura. As Sneck goes through into P... What progress Sneck has made. Into P7 goes the Mercedes Maestro. And it could get worse for Katie as Mackie looks to potentially make moves. Not this time. A lovely helicopter shot to mark the occasion. Next target for Sneck is Spaceboy up ahead. Wide goes Spaceboy, looking for the optimal exit. Sneck just combines all of it in a perfect concoction, but gets it all crossed up with a bit too much spice added into the mix. 2.2 seconds, the gap out front, ladies and gentlemen, but Yuri, the man on a mission for P2 in this race. Burning some more. A chance to go late on the brakes as you dare. Fortune favours the brave and the bold at the best of times, but not on this occasion. Second bite of the cherry for Yuri, but not quite finding it. Is Sneck going for it, though? Look to try and make it through the outside. Has to set themselves up, though, for the next section. An almighty run out of that third corner. But again, a snap of oversteer with the dirty air. And Katie can have a chance now to snap furiously at the heels of the Mercedes driver. Again, a call to invite. Look at the beautiful power slide in the background from Sneck, meanwhile. You don't get anything like it anywhere else. Mackie paying his compliments, meanwhile. Lovely, lovely stuff. So we've got Roseque and Pit. Roseque was a 10-second time penalty as well, but failed to look. Oh, no. Sneck was P12 at the end of the safety car, so Sneck is absolutely flying. For lack of a more adept term for the occasion. Again, Spaceboy goes wide. Sneck puts his nose in the gap. You give Sneck a whiff of space and he will run rings around you. Round the outside goes the championship leader. And in a race of damage limitation, Sneck is breaking new ground. Gap stabilising out front. Onto lap number 32 we go. Again, just sliding through every corner, but a mistake on the exit of turn number 2. Perhaps just a bit too much zest, and that will reduce the arrears by a few tenths of a second. This race is far from over, despite how heavy the rainfall still is. It is far from over. There are choice words in the chat to describe this game. I feel for you. I feel for you, Infinity. He's in! Infinity's in! Rolls crashed and it's a safety car. Roll crashes on the main straight. And all of the hard work that Adam Sanderson did has been completely nullified. But can they pit? Do they choose to pit with just a few laps to go? Clearly, the wet tyre seems to have the ascendancy, but the gaps, unless everybody pits onto wet tyres, surely it's not worth it. What call do you make? Infinity lives. A safety car comes out. Infinity's internet fixes itself. It's all top trumps for the Kicksauber, currently residing in 5th place. What strategy does everybody do then? Adam Sanderson, does he peel into the pit lane? The answer is he thinks about it. Darts out at the last moment. Chowdenby and Yuri don't. That's all the indication the race leader needed. It remains 1, 2, 3. Any of these drivers could pull the pit lane trigger, should they so desire. Sneck's not going to. Spaceboy might do, but chooses not to. Mackie, Katie, no, they're all staying out. Well, there you go. That's completely swindled that potential piece of psychological warfare. Adam Sanderson then will retain the lead and on, at the moment, it seems, the superior compound attire. How about that? Do you need another invite? Invite number 1 billionth for Infinity, sire. Don't worry, Squire. I got you once again. Welcome to Guinness World Record for the most invites from a commentary box. Right here, right now. No, it's fixed? Okay, good. Nice. Bixie has gambled. They had wing damage anyway, I was going to say. Like I say, you'll be hard-pressed to find someone with a full front wing. Now Bixie does have a full front wing. And the superior compound attire. And the safety car, I imagine, will come in at the end of the next lap. So, Bixie can still win this race, is all I'm saying. Yep, fresh, wet tyres. Bixie's going to win. Don't shoot the messenger. It's going to happen, all right? It's here for all to survey. Chicken Lord saying P10 down, should have pit. You're quite right, but hindsight is a very unhelpful friend. As a result, this is the tyre situation. 2 of the front 5 on the wet tyres. Everybody else pretty much on the intermediate tyres. Safety car out for 1 more lap then it is literally a 2-lap slug out to the end of this contest. Pressure makes diamonds, so they say. This man will certainly hope so on debut in TTYB. To come home as debut race winner. Diamonds are forever. An eternal etching into the history books awaits. Another one in this season. Capit has laid the marker down on the table, by the way. These are the stipulations for you, Infinity. It is 2 laps to squabble it out and pull out a 5-second gap to win this race. Can he do it? Maybe. Let's find out. Beaksy just about to go through Decina del Lago. By the way, did we all see the safety car? I think it was during Creator Series Las Vegas. Did you see how fast that was going down the straight? Ridiculous pace. Absolutely ungodly. Bernd Mailand has put something in the fuel mix. That's all I'm going to say. No traffic to disrupt the flow. Not this time. Not that it hindered the Alpine Ace's progress. He's going to be leading us onto the final 2 laps of the Grand Prix. Safety car in this lap. And here we go. Now, the responsibility of pulling the racing trigger falls to Adam Sanderson as Chaldenby goes for the Max Verstappen strap. And he might as well. It's not outlawed by any means. It is in real life, but not in this case. Chooses to wait behind for the moment. When does Adam Sanderson pull the trigger? Does he do the same point that Chaldenby did? The answer is no. Gonna warm up the tyres and, rather politely, let Beaksy latch onto the back of the pack. Pulls it straight. Chaldenby tried to predict it, but Adam Sanderson pulls the trigger. And we are back racing for the final 2 laps of TTYB. Not a great restart from Spaceboy. Roseq dives down the inside. 1, 2, maybe 3 positions gain, not quite. But that was an almighty move. Round the outside goes Rose Q Pro. And that was absolutely professional to a T. That right there, take a bow, sunshine, as Duty and Sneck go into combat. Oh my god, that is absolute, that is disastrous. I never want to see that again. Does Rose make the triple threat move? Not quite on this occasion, but that was a rapturous restart. Quite. Turn off your screens right now. Adam Sanderson has broken free, though. That 1 second gap immediately built. And Chaldenby again has to keep his eyes firmly looking backwards. Infinity, by the way, did make it through on Duty. Next target on the wet compound tyres. It's Yuri. What kind of pace and purchase does he have left? Look at the power slide simulator. We are seeing every single opportunity. It's Gymkhana season here at Interlagos. Honestly, they've literally... You're not wrong, Later. They've literally just imposed the Internet Safety Act. You've got to put your driving licence in the Twitch system. I do apologise. But... final lap of the race. And diving down the inside. Confidence breeds confidence. Momentum moves mountains. Infinity moves up into the podium places with a devastating dive. But it is a dive judged to perfection. One more car to overthrow until they get themselves right into contention. Of course, there is that 5 seconds applied at the end. We'll have to do the calculations afterwards, but we shall soon see where that puts Infinity in the context of this race. Sneck still trying to make moves on Duty on the final lap. Infinity has just Chaldenby between himself and Adam Sanderson, but nothing looks like disrupting the rhythm of this man. Absolutely on tempo ever since they put on the wet compound tyres. There has never been a sense of syncopation. The man, the myth, the legend, voice actor and face capture for Devon Butler has been building up to this crescendo. It's been an almighty race from Adam Sanderson, and I don't think he could quite believe he would be in this phenomenal position. History etched eternally. Adam Sanderson wins on debut in Throttle to Your Bottle. Round number 10 belongs to the Alpine Ace. Chaldenby takes P3. P2, sorry. Infinity's the one that takes P3. Where does that put them with the 5 seconds? We'll have to do the calculations. But oh my goodness me. What a race we've seen. I've had 3, well, to be honest, 4 absolutely ferociously fun races. If you include the sprint from Austria, but that one might just take the cake. Unbelievable. Shake of that. That is an awkwardly long handshake. What on earth is that? But lifting the trophy aloft, it's heaven sent for Sanderson. Alpine reigns supreme. Come hell or high water. Not even higher powers were stopping this man from winning today. made the perfect strategy call onto the wet compound tyres. It was the way to go. With how the rain was lashing down the entire way through. There it is, race winner and fastest lap for Adam Sanderson on debut. Driver of the day goes to Mackie in the end. And, well, to be honest, after the compromising action we've seen, I can't really disagree, but there we go. Apparently it's only 3 seconds, I think it is, for Infinity. So, if I'm not mistaken, they still finish P5. That's pretty good. But Adam Sanderson wins fastest lap. Unbelievable effort. Chowdenby in P2, Infinity in P3, Yuri 4th, Duty 5th, Sneck 6th, with Mackie 7th, Spaceboy 8th, Rose Q Pro 9th with Highwire rounding out the top 10. Tanidran, Kitty Katie, Kylo Ren, Beaksy and Liam round out our finishers for this race with Mr. Trifle, Charles Leclerc 16 roll, Fortis, Freya Voss, Arthur Way and Ollie rounding out our finishing order. And breathe. How about that? How about that? What a race. Oh my god. That's real Capit. Thank you for the follow. We've hit 50 followers. It's done. 50 followers on the TTYB League Racing Series. Thank you so much, man. I'm glad you've enjoyed the show. It's been a pleasure to see you coach it. I say coaching Infinity. It might have been a bit harsh at the best of times, but you know what? Absolutely fine. We will take that. In theory, we could get interviews, potentially, from our top 3, which, with penalties applied, would be Adam Sanderson, Chowdenby, and Yuri. Although, maybe not Yuri. I'm not sure if he does interview, so it might well be Spaceboy again. That'll be fun. Seems to be the Spaceboy segment, the interview section. So, Adam, yeah. Mate, what a... By the way... moment of the race for me, just to clear that up right now. Rose Q's restart. What the hell was that? That was ridiculous. And it wasn't on the optimal compound attire. That was ridiculous. What an absolutely rapturous restart. It was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Race Lad says I'll happily do one. We'll see who enters the fray. I think it's going to be 3 people, I think. Don't quote me on that, but that might be the order of the day. There might even be more. Who knows? There is a lot to talk about from this race. Make no mistake about that. I watched Spaceboy qualifying. Very nice. I assume he did decently. I think he did decently anyway. Finally, a race where the wet tyre is useful. I know. Unbelievable. To go eat. Can't listen to interviews. Thank you, Capit. Thank you for joining. It's great to have you along. We'll see you hopefully next week. Hopefully we will see you next week for the next leg of the TTYB show. Mental things going on lap. Yeah, I heard there was some interesting shenanigans going on. Fortis doesn't want to talk about lap 1. Let's erase that from our memory. But elsewhere, the racing was brilliant. There was chaos. There was carnage. It's everything I expected from this League Racing Series, and I've only been here for 3 races, so I wouldn't have it any other way. Gotta love it. Gotta absolutely love it. I don't want to talk about lap 1 and how you lost.
Hello.
Oh no. Well, ladies and gentlemen, entering on debut and winning on debut, Adam's mate. Take a bow. Well done yourself. That's absolutely unbelievable.
Thank you.
How's that feel?
Oh, I appreciate it. That feels great. It feels great. I'll tell you what, it feels a bit vindicating because everyone in my chat was like, Adam, dude, what are you doing going on wets? You're an idiot. Stop being stupid. Put on the inters. I was like, no, chat, I'm telling you. I felt a lot more comfortable, confident, and I just felt quicker on the wet, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a punt. And yeah, I was right. 100% right.
No, absolutely. A race where the wet tyres actually work. Unbelievable.
I know.
Don't see that.
Crazy, isn't it? And I had like a... No, and to be honest, I was a bit worried going into the race because Katie was in my chat saying she had like 15.9 wings or something, and I was running like... I adjusted it to 36.30 or something. I was like, oh God, I'm going to be a boat. But it worked. It worked.
No, it absolutely did.
Huge.
Absolutely. To be honest, if this race was realistic, we wouldn't have had a race at all, so I am sorry. But... luckily, luckily, who cares about that? You've won on debut. You've won round number 10. When you got onto those inters, was it just a reaction to everybody else, just to basically see if the pace was there? But what did you?
Yeah, well, I thought so. My tyres were when I first boxed off the wets, my tyres were on like 55% on the rears or something like that, and I was thinking, yeah, it's time, and I could get a little bit of an undercut. Surely the intermediates at this point are going to be better because there's a dry line forming. Well, it had formed for quite a while then. I was like, yeah, surely. When I put it on, I just kept an equidistance to the cars ahead, even though I was on fresh inters and they were on very worn wets, and I was like, well, I feel like poo. So when the VSE and then the safety car came out, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a punt. I know no one's gonna believe me, and they're gonna think, this guy. But I'm gonna trust my own gut, and I'm glad I did. Very glad I did.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you right now, you've joined a critically acclaimed list of reserves that have won on debut with none other than our very own PS1 Hagrid, Mr. Safso. So well done. It's a good list
Nice.
to be on, let me tell you. Next race, I mean, first
Good stuff.
You've had a taste of what TTYB has to offer. You've won on debut. Do you think we'll see you back?
Well, to be honest, dude, I kind of like my 100% win rate.
I know.
We'll see. No, it was. Yeah. Creative series, exactly. I would love to come back. I would love to. It's a great league. There were some really fast drivers here. Just a strategy let them down. That was simply it. I think they were quicker than me on actual pace, but when you've been around the block as much as I have, my guy, you get a taste for the strategy. So that's what it came down to, literally.
Very nice. Well, if we do see you next week, it's Hungary. You'll actually be racing Hungary next week. What are your thoughts and feelings about?
Ooh. I do like the Hungaroring. When I think I qualified quite well in the Saturday Night League. I don't know if you're allowed to say the league name, even though I did already, but there we go. I do like it. However, I think I won't be able to make next week anyway. But I will. I feel like I will be back eventually. How many rounds is this season?
There's 2 rounds after this. There's Hungary and Zandvoort.
Okay. Good to know. Maybe we'll see. Hold your breath.
To be continued. I will hold it, but not right now because I've got to conclude this. But listen, Adam. True. Well done, mate. Beautiful race.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Strategy call. You win on debut. Congratulations. Pleasure talking to you, mate.
Come on. Cheers, dude. Thank you.
In a bit, man. There you go. What a legend. Adam Sanderson, ladies and gentlemen. Fantastic stuff. As Blue Q follows as well. Welcome in. Thank you very much for following. And that means as well, with also the follow of Eden Sisk. I'm sorry, I probably said that wrong. Eden, welcome in. Great to have you along. That's 52. 52 followers, which means, ladies and gentlemen, 2 followers of the way. We're 2 followers of the way there towards 60. But ladies and gentlemen, next up in the interview pen, it is the V-Carb Overlord. It's Chowthenby. Every time I think I've spoke to you, other than the sprint race, you are Mr. Consistent. It's another P2 for yourself. How do you overview that race? How do you reflect on that one today?
Another missed opportunity again for the 3rd race in a row. On the stop, I risked going to Inters. They had decent grip, but at the end, just not enough grip compared to like Adam on the wets. Just not enough grip in the end.
No, absolutely.
So...
No, you're absolutely right. It's the big talking point from this race is whether to go from Inters onto wets. Was there ever, like, towards that late safety car as well, was there any kind of thought in your mind that potentially switching onto the wets would be a play, or was the track position loss just too much?
Track position loss was too much, and it turns out everyone behind me didn't pit, so yeah, I would have lost a whole bunch of places. So it just wasn't worth it in the end.
That is totally valid, and I respect your decision. But good news is, because you're so consistent, you continue what is a very, very upwards trajectory in terms of the championship.
Oh, absolutely.
You might well, and I don't want to say this, but you are escaping with P2 at the moment, if memory serves me correctly, which is a good thing in and of itself. But
yes,
also,
I think I'm only like a handful of points ahead. I think I'm only a handful of points after this race ahead of Yuri.
That's correct, yeah. But crucially as well, you are closing up to the championship lead of Sneck. How about that?
Yes.
It's okay.
I am. I don't know how many points again today, but it's a considerable amount compared to the last couple of weeks.
Of course, no, absolutely. I mean, it seems like as well. I mean, it seems like there were some brilliant battles out there. How was it in that first stint in particular? How was it judging the conditions? How strong? Because it seemed like you had really strong pace in that first stint, anyway.
I did. I just couldn't get by Sneck in the first bit, just because of the dirty air in the middle sector and the fact he had higher wings than me. So I was always catching the straights, but the middle sector was pulling away slightly. So it didn't feel too bad in the first stint. It was just also I was saving fuel in the first stint because half a lap under in the wet seemed too much to go under. But then we had those late safety cars in the end, which made my fuel like +3. So so there was no need for fuel saving in the end.
Well, at least you weren't short on it. That's all.
No,
That's
I risked it with 0.5 in the wet because I know wet you burn a bit more than you do in the dry. So
Nah, it's all good.
I risked it, but it still paid off another great P2. So I'll happily, even though it's another missed opportunity, I'll happily take it.
Well, probability-wise, as a mathematician, which I'm obviously not, but it means that win is getting closer since you are knocking on the door so much. So you might well breach it. And speaking of breaching it, the Hungaro ring comes next. How are you feeling for that one?
I may have a good chance for the win because Snex said in the VC he's not there next week.
Ooh.
So if I don't get screwed over, you never know.
we pray it doesn't happen.
Yes, I'm not getting my hopes up because I'm always like, just look at the reality of things. I'm like, even though Sneck's gone, it doesn't mean it's a for sure win because it just depends like how the race goes, how the conditions are, and everything.
Of course, no, we shall soon see. I have no doubt. But Hungarian Havoc, that's for next week. In the Brazilian landscape, it's another P2. 3 P2s on the trot. Cutthroat consistency. And long may that continue. Child of me, thank you for coming to talk to us, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. No problem, man. There you go. Another P2 on the road for the V-Carb. Fantastic stuff. And, well, that was to also... I think Blueku's asking who shouted. I think that was Adam playing a sound effect, which royally caught me off guard. He knew exactly what he was doing. I see you. I see you, Sanderson. Don't do it again. Space Boy, welcome in. Great. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, is he still here? Oh, he is still here. My Discord just moved. I thought you'd, like, disappeared. Anyway, look, Space Boy, welcome in. Welcome to our regular rendezvous, as it turns out it's going to be on the TTYB.
That may as well be, mate.
It might as well, exactly. But seemed like a decent race from your side. Seemed like a lot of fun. Plenty of battling. Talk us through it from your side.
I mean, started 8th, finished 8th. It sounds a bit boring, and to be honest, the first half of the race it kind of was, but I was fine with it because it was just chucking it down the lane. And I felt like it helped having no one around me and just focusing on that. But I also just wasn't focusing because I was just chatting to Freya the whole time. So, yeah, the second half was a lot more interesting, I'd say. And the new reserve that we had, Rose, can drive from there. Well done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Kudos to Rose. Did almost a triple overtake at the restart. Stupidly good. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, I was baffled by it. I did not see it coming. I had Mackie on my outside there. And then I just see this kicks out on the inside, just like, what are you doing there, mate?
No, honestly.
So surprised.
We love to see it. It was opportunistic.
Yeah.
It was almost wild. I thought there was going to be tears, but luckily there wasn't. Was there...
I expected tears.
Yeah. If in doubt, always expect tears. But that second half of the race in particular, which we'll come on to, was there a bit of tyre talk? Was there any thought of a lot of people obviously persevered with the intermediates? You yourself, I believe, were one of them, if memory serves correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But was there any thought of going on to the wet tyres later on in the day?
If the Delta didn't screw me, I would. But the Delta, like, during the race was, like, under safety car was so bugged for today.
Oh, sure.
Like, 1 minute it was fine, and then the next it would show up, even under the safety car. It was so bugged. And because of that, I couldn't box if I wanted to, because Katie ended up, like, 12 seconds behind me because of it. And I would have just lost the place to her. And, yeah. If I could, I would.
Yes, that's fair. Yeah. Thank you, EA.
Indeed. What a great company.
Exactly. We love EA.
Mm-hmm.
We're being
really
serious.
do.
Please don't cancel it. Right, look. Calendar. Next up, Hungarian Grand Prix. How are you feeling for that one?
Oh, God's sake.
And that's all
it's my worst.
you need to know.
It's my least favourite track on the game. I think it's so much, bro.
Here's another question, though. Do you like Zandvoort?
I'll take Zandvoort a million times over Hungary.
There you go. We saved the better one for
And
last then.
And I don't
Compromise.
even love Zandvoort that much. I just
Oh.
don't like Hungary.
Like I say, compromise. We saved the better one until last. But
Yeah, I
look to look
guess.
forward to. Anywho, Space Boy. I'm glad we have our regular rendezvous now. I'm glad it's a fixture. But well done yourself.
May as well be, mate. It's
Solid
good fun.
points once again. And we'll see you in Hungary. Enjoy your evening, mate.
Yep. In a bit, mate. Ciao.
See ya. Take care. Ciao, ciao. Top man, Space Boy. There we go. 3 down. Apparently 1 to go. Who is the one remaining fixture of the interview room? We shall soon find out. It's all a bit of an air of mystery. And as you can see now, this is where being the overlord of absolute yap comes in handy. Although, is it actually going to be fun? I'm waiting for Katie to answer me. The answer is yes. We have Yuri in. Ferrari scoring big points once again. Constructors Crusade is looking pretty good. But when Infinity's time penalty obviously was applied, another podium for yourself. Talk us through your race out there. It seemed like a decent one.
Shit. Very low grip.
Yes.
Yeah, turn 1 was a bit sketchy with Adam in the inside of me, which made me hit Chris. For the rest, chilling behind the people in front of me. Nothing much to say. But at the end, lap 36, I think, Infinity changed from a bit far back and turned in it. I haven't seen it yet, but I will review it. But otherwise, it has been very great.
Absolutely. No, it's a very good race for yourself. Like I say, Constructors Challenge is well and truly on. More than on, actually. You extend your lead in the championship, which is great news. Tyre talk, second half of the race. Was there any thought at all of potentially going on to wet compound tyres, or was the track position loss just too much today?
I think the track position loss was too big to go to the wets, but the wets were definitely better at the end. But yeah, I think if I didn't go to the inters at safety car, I would have got a chance to win. But yeah, it happened.
It does happen. No, absolutely. But it's again, let's not take the shine off it here. It's another podium. Life is good.
Yeah.
Ferrari continued just being constructors' overlords. Life is good. Next up, though, we head over to Hungary. How are you feeling about your chances at the Hungaroring?
I haven't played Hungary much this game, so I don't know, but I think it will be a bit hard to overtake. And hopefully it doesn't rain.
Please, do a reverse rain dance.
It will be fun rain, but to watch, but not to race.
It's good to be in my position in this particular circumstance. But anywho, look, I mean, what more is there to say, really? You extend your constructors' lead. It's another podium on the books. You demonstrate your speed, as you seem to always do whenever I've watched you in Throttle to Your Bottle. And long may it continue. Yuri, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for talking to us. And enjoy the podium.
I will. Thank you.
Good stuff. You're welcome. Have a good evening, mate.
You too. Bye-bye.
Brilliant. Good stuff. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Views, thoughts, and feelings from our top 3, and a special regular rendezvous, of course, with Mr. Raw Beans, or Space Boy, as we know he is. Well, there we are. How do you even summarise? How does one even summarise a race like that? Well, simply in 3 pretty easy terms. Brilliant, beautiful, and occasionally banzai. But it's everything a Brazilian Grand Prix should be. Now, questions. Driver of the day, ladies and gentlemen. Who on earth takes our driver of the day today? See, it's very easy to say Adam Sanderson because he won on debut. And he was the man who made that inspired call to go onto the wet compound tyres. I could very easily as well give it to Roseque because, despite the 3-second time penalty, I cannot get that restart move out of my head. It's ridiculous. It just will not evade the mental scope that's set before me. Absolutely unbelievable. A near triple overtake in basically 1 corner. Just out of this world brilliant. But driver of the day, I am going to say, well, I'll say it's both of them. I'll say it's both of them. I say it's a pretty safe bet, to be honest with you. But there we go. How about that? But I think the real winners were all of us watching. So there we go. I will say as well, everybody just did brilliant racing as well. Has a debate about it. But play it safe. I see you. Exactly. Play it very safe indeed. I mean, I could give it to 1, but then I feel bad, man, because you got to share the love. In fact, screw it. Everyone's driver of the day. Well done. Congratulations. Everyone scores points. Everyone is driver of the day. 2-player career with me when. You know what? We might work it out. Watch this space. Brilliant. Well, there we go. That is a hell of a race once again. I am so hurting. But more importantly, that was just furious fun. There we go. Katie Kitty's putting all of the commands in the chat. ! TikTok and YouTube and Discord. If you want to list all of them, though, ! Socials. Plural. ! Socials. If you do that, it lists all of the commands that you need anyway. So use them. Enjoy them. Life is good on that front. In fact, you know what? There it is. It's in the title, waiting for you. ! Socials. Use the commands, get involved, and life is very, very good indeed. Infinity saying we live and we learn. Tanadran, I survived, I'm a winner. Absolutely. If you survived, you're a winner already. How about that? Hope to see you again next week. I hope to see you too, Yuri. I hope to see you too. I will definitely be here next week. I'll be here commentating for the Hungaro Ring. 2 rounds to go of Season 2. We have this one, some Hungarian havoc, before some Dutch delight to round out the season. But there we go. Throttle to your bottle. Doesn't ever disappoint. And long may it reign supreme. Thank you all so much for being here for the Throttle Till Your Bottle show. Round number 10 is done and dusted. 2 more bites at the cherry. 2 more chances to wrap up some championships. If you did enjoy, if you are watching and you haven't already, click that follow button. Please, click it. What are you doing? Please do it. Now that you've done it, though, ladies and gentlemen, you can use all the commands that are in the title, ! Etc., etc. Just type in what it says, but you get the idea. Links to all the socials and stuff, so you can keep involved with this absolutely wonderful community. A big, big thank you to them for allowing me to commentate, as always. I do not take it for granted. It's a pleasure to be a part of it, and I look forward to all of the wonderful racing we have to come. I'm very good at Hungary and Zandvoort. Infinity, listen, you've set yourself up to win. This is your moment. Lock in. And I'm all out of words. Interlagos has absolutely sapped the life out of me, but I appreciate every single one of you. My name's Carl Paranik. If you type me in, my name's Carl with a K, and Paranik, just guess how you spell that, I guess. But if you type that in on social medias, you'll probably find me there. I believe I'm joint streaming anyway. So there's my Twitch channel if you want to go and check it out. It's been an absolute pleasure to be your commentator for tonight, and it will continue to be a pleasure as we head over to Europe for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Today, though, history eternally etched in favour of Mr. Adam Sanderson. Who will be next, though, to sit high and mighty on the throne? Heavy is the head that wears the crown, but maybe there is a new set of royalty on the block in TTYB, just waiting to be found. But once again, thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care of yourselves out there, and we'll see you next week. Good night.
till you buy